there, how are you all doing today? I just wanted to come and share with you how I was able to get out of that sticky situation of having a US account in Trinidad and Tobago and to get an international US-based bank account, business bank account. So are you ready to learn about what I did? Stay tuned. Okay, so here I am. If you are located in Trinidad and Tobago, or probably in the Caribbean for that matter, you would know how challenging it is to have a US account, to get a US account, to have access to US and ultimately create that true e-commerce business. For me, you know that I have an e-commerce business. I launched my Ultimate Mompreneur Planner, and doing that, I saw many challenges where my e-commerce, my website was concerned. I was not able to get those funds direct to me into my account without having to go through a third party like PayPal, all of those fees. And also just having a great user experience, a simpler user experience. And so I knew that I needed to get a solution. I knew that I needed to get a US bank account to make things a lot easier for myself, for collecting my funds, and for my user experience. And so I said, okay, what do I have to do first? And so I decided that, okay, let me see how I can get a US registered business. Now, I never knew this was possible until I Googled it, that you can actually incorporate a US business, which is an LLC, from right here in the Caribbean, right there in your island, right? And so what I did, I Googled, I said, okay, how do I get this done? And the first thing that you need is a registered agent. If you are not physically in the US, you would need a registered agent. And so I did some research and I looked at all of the reviews of all the different registered agents. This is something that I always do. I always look at reviews, see what the experience is of other persons. And I found one that I really liked, which was InkFile. Now, I'm going to show you what they would have done for me. So if you can see my screen, this is InkFile. This is my registered agent for over a year now. They are great. All right, so they were able to register my company. This is my account where I have all of my filed articles. They also got my EIN, my tax number. They give me my statements of organization. Also documents for banking resolution. You have your statement of good standing, which you can always find on your state's website. They show you your certificate of good standing and my EIN application. You can see that there. Also, they give you your operating agreement. So let me just show you, this is just a disclaimer, always do your research. Please always do your research before. This tutorial is not in any form to promote or to tell you to go with InkFile. Disclaimer. All right, do your own research. I'm just sharing what I did, right? So let's just say I'm gonna, for the benefit of you, to start a new company. This is what you are going to do. You're going to enter your entity type. This is just a quick thing. I would suggest you do an LLC, and you're going to use the state. I use Wyoming, basically mainly because this is one of the states that has the least amount of taxes. But from my experience, and I'm just sharing my experience with you, I think you should use the state that if you are able to travel, right? Use the state that you frequent the most. So if it's Florida, if it's Atlanta, if it's New York, use that state, all right? I used Wyoming, fine, everything went through fine. I didn't have a challenge until it was ready for me to open the bank account, which is what I'm going to share with you next. So I would say use a state that you frequent, okay? Because each state has different fees for that incorporation. You should cater for that. Think about that, okay? Don't do like me and use the lowest one. Good. All right, so let's say you frequent Florida. So let's do Florida. Okay. All right, so you see they have different options, different packages. So what you could get with 125, you pay the state fee and their package fee is $0. With the gold, you get more comprehensive features. All right, you get with the gold package, you get, so you see what that includes. They will prepare your articles of organization. They will do the name search. You get your free registered agent fee for a year. They give you your EIN number. They fill out the form, your operator agreement. So I think this was the one that I had done, right? Because for the pro package, the platinum package, I did not need a domain name and email, all right? And I didn't necessarily need expedited filing at that time. So with this package, it would give you business contract templates, all of that. So I chose the gold, okay? Let's go back and see if you would have chose Wyoming. So you see this was $274, $125, $424. If I had chose Wyoming, let's see the difference in the fees. You see, it's just a bit lower in cost to do the registration. If I choose New York, let's see what New York, because New York has one of the highest fees. So you see, it is much higher to register your business in New York, right? But what I found is that because I frequent New York, which is what I'm going to come to, it's best you choose the state that you frequent. Okay, so this is what I did. I used a gold package for Wyoming, and let me see. These are the items that I got. All right, so I do have my statement of certificate of good standing, which if I go to the Wyoming website, I would get an updated one, right? You just put in your company number. So I'm just going to show you, this is my certificate of registration from my company. And this is also the EIN number that I got assigned from the IRS, okay? So that was that. That is the first part. How did I get registered? Everything here took a few days. The thing that took the longest was getting that EIN number, because with the IRS now, they have a lot of backlog, so it takes a lot longer to get things pushed through. So that took the longest. It took like about almost over 2 months to get that EIN number, but it is so critical for you to get that bank account. Okay, so fast forward, having all of these things was fine. It allowed me to sign up for like Stripe, and that's about it. It still did not solve my problem of having a US bank account. In doing that, in doing my research, I also found that you need to physically be in the US. You cannot open a bank account. If you do not have a social security number, you cannot open a bank account over the phone. Opening accounts over the phone can be done, but you need to have a social security number. If you don't, you need to be physically in the US. So I knew that I needed to get that done, okay? So I made the trip, fast forward, I made the trip. Different banks have different rules. Different banks have different personalities. Different banks have different items that they would say that you would need when you get there, right? They could tell you as much over the phone, but when you sit in front of them, it all depends on the manager who is there at the time and what documents they say that they require, okay? So for me, when I got there, one document that they said that I needed to have was also my personal tax ID, which is your ITIN, or people call it an ITIN, right? That is the next thing that you would need to get if you want to open a personal account. But for the business account, I was able to use my certificate of incorporation, my EIN number, also 2 forms of ID, which was my passport and my driver's license. It could have stated, you know, the country that you are from, so that is okay. But for me, I needed to have those 2 documents: the registration, the EIN, plus my ID, my passport, and my driver's license, right? And I also needed a form of a mailing address, right? So it's a good thing that, you know, I had mail going to the place that I had stayed, all right? So you need to have that. Now, it is something good to have, but it is not necessarily, because it may be the first time that you have been to that address and you would not have had you know, a record of that. But because I had it on this on the EIN form, all right, even though it was a different address, I was able to give the address of where I was staying in that state. All right. Now that happened for me. Again, I'm saying it may not happen for you. You need to do your research. I went to about 2 banks before and I was turned down because I did not have an ITIN, right? I was also turned down because the state that the business was registered in was not the state that I was in at the time. All right. So that's why I said to register the business in the state that you know that you would frequent. It makes it a whole lot easier. All right. So I was able to get it opened at that bank. I think it was Chase Bank, with that information. I was so grateful. The guy, you know, when we first sat, he was a bit, you know, well, you don't have this and you don't have that, and you know. And I think I led with the personal, and then I said, okay, so if I do have the business documents, what do I need? And fortunately, I had all of the things that he suggested, so he could not turn me down at that time. All right. Now, I went to another bank because I knew that I needed more than one. You need to have options. Have options. Okay. So I went to another bank, and even though I had all of the documents that the other bank requested, this bank, they said that I also needed to get authority to do business in the state that I was in, which, as I said, I registered in Wyoming and I was in a different state. So they said that I needed to get an application of authority. So whichever state that you are in, I suggest that you get authorization to do business in that state. For me, I would frequent New York as well as Florida. So I filed the application for authority. Now you find the state. I filed the application for authority. They asked for my business document, the address that I would want to use. All right, and they also asked for an updated certificate of existence, right? So you remember, as I said, you need a certificate of existence from the state that you would have registered, which is also, you know, called a certificate of, let me double check that, your certificate of good standing. Yes, Google that. Your certificate of good standing, right? So I was able to have that because I filed annual report. You have to remember all of these things. Yes. So I filed my annual report, which is due 1 year from your year of incorporation. You need to go back to your state's website, file your annual report. That would show that, okay, even if you have done no business for that year, you are saying that I am here, my business is still running, so that you could get your certificate of good standing. Okay, let me know if you are following this so far and if this is helpful to you. So I know there are a lot of moving parts, but all of these things that you would need, we are still on the topic of how to secure your business bank account in the US to make things so much easier for you. Okay, so so I was saying this bank asks for that application of authority. So I have filed that since I was there. So hopefully within the next few weeks, I will have that certificate of authority so that I can return sometime in the future and get that second account opened. Okay, with the first account, it took about 2 days for me to get the card because you have to wait for your card, but it will be a business Visa debit card, all right, which is amazing, makes it so much easier. You can link that to your Stripe. The bank itself would have great e-commerce options, updated e-commerce options for you. You can use that to get any of their devices so that you can actually go to events and take payments on site. All right. What is also great with the bank that accepted me, Chase Bank, was that I could also take credit card payments like over the phone. So if I, do consulting, if I do, anything that someone could actually just tell me their credit card information, I can put it in just on my phone. So I use my phone on my app and I put in their credit card number and it goes through like instantly, it goes direct to that account. Yeah, so that is one of the benefits as well. So that's what I did. And I'm so grateful because instantly things were able to be different and move faster for my business. Access to the US, right? If your country tells you that they have a shortage or you are not able to get your money that you worked for, red flags. Okay, so you do what you have to do to ensure that you are ready, that you are set up to do business easier with US access to you. Okay. So that was my little quick tutorial today. I hope that you share it with someone who needs it, especially those of you who are in countries where the foreign currency is a bit challenging and difficult to get at the moment. Solve your challenges easily, follow the steps that I would have shared. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I would be more than happy to share with you again my experience and ready to help you to grow your business, grow your opportunities worldwide, okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. Please share, like, comment, let me know if, what experience you had, what did you do to eventually set yourself up on the worldwide scale, okay? So have a great day and we shall see you again very soon. Bye.